Hey, this is No Class Bobby Bass for the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. You're listening to my good friend Lewis, and you listen to him all the time. You learn more about pro wrestling than you can shake a stick at. Until then, take care. God bless. This is No Class Bobby Bass.
Hello and welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. I am your host, Lewis Carlin. Very excited today because on the show we have a Canadian wrestling legend. I'm talking about the one and only, No Class, Bobby Bass. Bobby, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Lewis. It's great to be here today, and it's great to hear your voice, and it'd be great to talk to you, my friend.
Same here, man. And it's we haven't spoken in a while, and it's always good to catch up with friends, Bobby. And I'm glad we're doing that today.
Great. It is great to catch up with friends. And
all right, so let's get right down to it. I'm sure everybody listening wants to know how did it all start for Bobby Bass. Let's go back to the beginnings. When you decided I'm going to be a professional wrestler, and the road that you took to become. How did it all start for No Class Bobby Bass?
Well, it all started with me not wanting to be a professional wrestler. My father, believe it or not. It started with my dad. He was sitting in the living room one time, and he had the paper up in front of his face, and he said to me, and everybody knows my real name is Dennis. He said, Dennis, he says, I think there's something in here that you're big and ugly enough to do. I said, what's that, Pop? He said, Whipper Billy Washington's having a wrestling school. Why don't you go down there and take a look at it? Well, I went down there and fell in love with the business and been in it ever since. It ought to be about 40 years ago, maybe a bit longer. I've been around the business. I started in 1967.
Wow, 1967. There's yeah, wow. So there have you heard of the website called Cage Match? It's the website called Cage Match where they they try to list as many matches as they can of as many professional wrestlers as they can, and they have you up there. They have you up there, but they indicate that your debut was 1969, but it was 1967 was your debut.
67, yeah. Because I did my first match.
Okay.
And I remember this. Do you remember the movie Clockwork Orange? It was a big movie back in the 60s. I forget his name, but he was in Toronto. And I had my first match with him, and I had it in Woodbridge Arena in Woodbridge, Ontario. I remember he beat me. He picked me up and turned me upside down in a garbage can. And I said, man, I'm a professional wrestler. True story. And ever since I've been in the business. I've been, yourself, I did a lot of traveling, had a lot of matches, and had a lot of great friends in the business. But I loved what I did for a living.
Okay, man. I mentioned the Cage Match website. It indicated back in 1970, Stampede Wrestling. You were Bob Pringle at the time. It says that you wrestled. Young Bob Pringle, young Bobby Bass wrestled a young Johnny Valentine Jr., who, AKA, is Greg the Hammer Valentine. Do you remember those matches? Do you remember anything about wrestling young Greg Valentine in Stampede?
Okay, here's the story. Number one, I was never Bobby Pringle in Stampede. I had the name when I first started in the business. They gave me the name, believe it or not, Percy Pringle in Kentucky. And then when I went to Kansas City, I kept the same name, Pringle. And then when I went to Vancouver, Pat O'Connor, the great Pat O'Connor, got in touch with Al Compko, who was looking for a heel. And I went to Vancouver, and I went as a Texas Outlaw Bobby Bass. I got the name Bobby Bass when I joined the Bass family in Florida, and that's where that name came from, and it's stuck ever since. I did have a couple of different names. Kincaid was one of them, Pringle, and I think that was it. And as far as Greg Valentine, I got to be honest, no, I never worked with him in Stampede. He was never there as far as I know. That's a true story.
Wow. So no, I believe you. I'm going by what they have here on this website. So you just totally disregard that because they're not really, because they call you Bob Pringle, and they say 1970 that Stampede you wrestled Greg the Hammer Valentine. So I guess this is false then. I shouldn't
It is false.
pay no
Yeah, I
attention.
never had the name.
It says right here 1970. Okay, so we won't ask any more questions about that.
Well, no,
You
go
mentioned
ahead.
how you became
We're
Bobby
straight.
Bass. Now,
We're straighten this right out here today, Lewis. We just tell the truth. I have no problem telling anybody how I got the name Bass. I'm not a shy guy. Anybody knows me tell you that, you know.
No, hey, no, I know you're definitely not a shy guy. But yeah, I'm looking at it now. It says here June 6, 1970. They call you Bob Pringle, but that name never. It says defeats Johnny Valentine Jr., who they have as AKA Greg Valentine in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. So that I guess that match never took place.
You know what? Not with me, because I was in the 70s. I was in Kansas City. I think that might have been Bob Pringle and the young Johnny Valentine in Stampede. I didn't arrive in Stampede to the 80s. I came right from Vancouver, and they brought me into this. So he might have been with Bob Pringle in that territory at that particular time, but I wasn't there.
Okay, all right. We'll clear that up. I'm going to write an email to Cage Match and let them know they need to correct that on your behalf because they have incorrect information. So you mentioned Bobby Bass. Who gave you the nickname No Class? I read that it had something to do with you throwing a midget, but I don't know if that. I'll let you tell the story.
Here's what happened. I would take team with the great grappler Len Denton. And we were called the Dirty White Boys in Stampede Wrestling. And our theme song was going to be a heartbreak tonight. Of course, we fought the Hearts, and that was the theme song. So they had a battle royal, and the midgets wanted to get into it. So, they'd run around, kick you in the leg, bite you on the butt, And I think little Johnny, true story. Well, I forget his name, little Johnny, Billy the Kid or Johnny somebody. He said, pick me up and swim with you. So me and Len went, whee! He goes, no higher. So we threw him higher, and he said, no higher. So we really let him go. And he went up and he hit, if you remember in the arena, you just had that one light over the ring, And he hit that light, and all the guys looked up. He started to fall, and the lights came behind him. Well, he hit the mat, and the light hit him and broke. And Ed Whalen, God rest his soul, said, look at that Bobby Bass. That man has no class whatsoever. And I thank Ed Whalen to this day. He gave me the name No Class, and I already had Bobby Bass, and it stuck with me all these years, and it's great. And that's the true story I just told you. If you ever talk to Len Denton, then I'll tell you the same story.
All right, there you go. So you gave me the name No Class Bobby Bass, and it fits you perfectly, man. Whalen, so you had that name, and you did well with it. You did well with it, man. I did. When was the first time you won it? Go ahead, Bobby. I'm sorry.
Hello.
No, I said, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
We're going to have the first time I used the name.
No, I was going to say, when was the first time you won a title, and how did it feel holding gold around your waist for the first time?
I held it in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Me and a fellow, Don Wyatt. He lives in Texas today. Joe Pilardi. Me and Joe Pilardi grabbed the Canadian tag team straps off of the Morrow brothers in Vancouver, and I think I had gold from then on in. I already had a strap around my waist to Junior Heavyweight Canada with the international out of 2 times out of Calgary, the international tag team with Duke Myers, and I always did good. Believe it or not, I don't know what it was. I must have had something that they liked. It drew money because they always put a strap around me. And of course, in the Maritimes, me and the Cuban assassin, me and the great Ron Starr, we had straps there all the time. So they must have saw something. I was always a tag team specialist, if anybody doesn't know that. But we did good. We worked hard in the ring to establish ourselves and keep a name for ourselves. And it paid off for me, and it paid off for the guys I worked with. We always got guys that could work their butt off in our ring for an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it took. up and down action, no grabbing the headlock and sitting there for 20 minutes or yapping to the audience. We worked hard. We give them a good show.
Tell me about pro wrestling back then compared to pro wrestling now. You mentioned that you always give them a good show. What do you think are the main differences between pro wrestling now and pro wrestling back then?
Well, you may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. Okay, you want the honest truth?
Go ahead.
I think the young kid.
Anything you say, I'm going to like. Go ahead.
I think the young kid today all got in their mind are WWE guys. They follow that protocol of how they work. They don't have enough common sense to go out and get their own character and work their own character and be their own character in that ring. And I think all they do is work for themselves. They forget beyond them ropes there's an audience that you got to work with. And I think in the olden days we worked for the audience and to get them up, bring them down, take them home, and give them action. We didn't walk around, cursing and swearing and spitting and giving them the finger or whatever. We were out there and we got, honest to God, great heat. We didn't get as you know yourself, Louis, they call it cheap heat. We never got that. We got, honest to God, heat from the audience. And we worked hard. We did a thing the kids don't do today, and I get so disappointed when I see it. We used to sell our moves, and they don't do nothing. You can kick a guy in the bollocks and throw him on the top rope, hit him with a chair, he jumped right back up. Poke him in the eye, no big deal. It's embarrassing to watch to me it is, and I may get some heat for this, but it's embarrassing to watch these young kids. They think they're doing great, but they don't have the psychology to be a pro wrestler. That's my opinion. I don't know, I don't know if anybody else got the balls to say it, but I do. These kids need to get back in the gym and learn how to work, learn the psychology of the ring. And you got these kids 125, 130 pounds. Come on, you gotta be kidding me, It just makes me upset when I see stuff like that.
All right, man. One thing I didn't mean to get you upset there, but it was interesting to hear your take on that. And you said you would get the genuine heat.
We did.
Okay, go ahead.
It's so easy to get the heat if you know how to work the crowd. You got guys like Cuban Assassin. He taught me so much about this business. Rotten Ronnie Starr taught me so much about this business, and I thought I knew it all. I knew, pardon the expression, I knew shit until I worked with these guys. Then you learn how to be a pro wrestler. You have a teacher, and they say, no, Bobby, you do this wrong, do this, do that, and you learn how to do it, and then it comes naturally to you how to get general heat from the public without spitting, cursing, grabbing yourself, or whatever, and the guys I worked with, we never swore at the audience. We had fun with them, but we never ever. It got so bad they tried to knife us a couple of times, tried to shoot us. I don't see no kid getting that today,
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you. Because you were a heel for a good part of your career. I think you were a face at some point as well. But I was going to ask, were there ever any incidents where you were attacked by a fan or fans for getting that genuine heat? But you said you were shot at. Is that you shot at or knifed? Is it?
Yeah. Wow. I knifed twice. Once in the arm, once in the leg. But you know what? This is what you're going to find funny, and the people are going to find funny. I do not blame the people that did that. It was me and whoever I was working with. We got so much heat. They got so frustrated. That they just went crazy. It wasn't a bad stab or a bad, stuff like that. But I mean, you say to yourself, "Wow, you get people to do that," and I just shook my head and said, "Wow, we got so much heat tonight. It's unbelievable." And and the police escort you out to your cars and take you out of this town or small town you're in. I don't see that today. I don't see people getting that, and I just shake my head. And I found the business so easy, Louis, to get all that. If you knew what you're doing, you had a psychology, you could get that.
Yeah, no, I agree because I'm going to use an example. When I was 10 years old, when Larry Zbyszko turned on Bruno Sammartino, yep. I don't know if you remember that. Right. I'm sure he did, but I absolutely hated Larry Zbyszko with a passion. My grandfather called me up and said, "Louis, that damn son of a bitch, Larry Zbyszko. Bruno's gonna kill him. And my grandfather was like, he was gonna get into his car and go look for Larry Zbyszko. But now you got guys who might turn on a face, but then the next day they're at a comic book store signing autographs and posing for pictures, with fans.
Yeah.
So you're right. You don't get the same heat back then. And man, if I don't know if you remember the big turn, Ole Anderson turning on Dusty Rhodes. I actually asked my dad if he could drive me. I asked my dad if he could drive me to Atlanta so I could go look for Ole Anderson. And I was only 10 years old. That's how much I was so upset with Ole Anderson.
There you go. He got you so upset that you want to go and do damage to him. I understand that. I understand. We had a word in our business, which you don't hear too much anymore, and that word was so strict. If you were caught with the baby face, you were gone. No matter who. Emile Dupre, I'll give Emile to Maritimes, Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. If you were the main event and you were like, let's say Leo Burke, and you were caught with me in a restaurant, goodbye. He would not put up with that. And I think that's why Emile territory was so successful, because we kept the kayfabe. If I saw Leo walking down the street, I wouldn't argue. I'd just cross over, continue on my merry way. You know what I mean? They don't do that today. You see these kids today, they pound the piss out of each other and they're having a beer someplace or in the restaurant eating. I don't believe in it. That's just me.
No.
But, I mean,
even back then, the back then the baby faces and heels, they came out from separate entrances. They didn't come out of the same entrance. So that's another thing that made it more. No, I just man. Now I'm starting to hate Larry Zbyszko.
Larry was a hell of a heel.
Now I'm starting to hate Larry Zbyszko again, man.
Take a deep breath.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
but
okay, that's okay. It's 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I still haven't got over it yet. But.
Yeah, that just shows how
go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
How good this guy was, Larry was, and how much he affected you. That 40 years later, you're still son of a bitch. You know what he did to Bruno Sammartino? Because Bruno was so powerful, it was unbelievable. And and to me, that's great. The guy made you think 40 years ago you hated his guts, and you still have feelings for it today. That is unbelievable. I know the feeling. People come on to me like that too, but I just shake my head and just okay, fine. I did what I had to do, and in the ring to bring the people back. Well, as you would say, put asses in the seats.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. So we mentioned Stampede a little earlier. So tell me about your days at Stampede, your thoughts on the Hart family, and did you actually have to prove yourself in Stu Hart's dungeon before you're able to work for Stampede?
To the last question, no, I didn't have to prove myself. I wouldn't go to the dungeon, number one. And this may sound like I'm bragging. I thought I was good enough. I didn't have to go to the dungeon to be stressed by Stu. He tried to get me to the dungeon. I said, Stu, no way, no shape, no form. And he went, okay, baby, it's okay. But I was over in Vancouver, and our TV went off through Canada. And I was over at the Texas Outlaw, and, I had a good name, and that's what he wanted me to come in. They got in contact with me, if I remember correctly. And I come in at a tag team, and I worked with Cuban Assassin. That's where I met Cubie. And then Len Denton come in. We went to Dirty White Boys. And then, what's his name? I mentioned him before. I can't think of his name. See, I'm getting old time right now. You know that, eh? We won the strap 2 times in Calgary, which, and I worked with all the Harts. I don't think I ever worked with Bruce. No, I never worked with Bruce. But I worked with all the other families, Keith, Bret, whoever was working at the Hart family, I was working. Then we used to go down to Stu's place on a Friday to get the paychecks or whatever. But a great territory, a lot of traveling, a lot of experience that you would get being on the road. What the kids don't get today, they wrestle 3 times a month and they think they're superstars. Hey, go on the road 7 days a week, sleep in your car, eat crappy food, and learn. Every night you work with somebody different and you learn the business. I think that is what's missing today in a lot of the promotion. The kids are only working 2 or 3 times a month, and you got to admit that, Louis. They don't have the stamina we had in our day.
No, no, I know, I know. I mean, you guys would go on road trips all the time. You would. I mean, they do that today. They still travel from city to city, but I think that traveling, especially in the territories, I think there's a lot more traveling that you did then, and that I think they do. Although I'm not in the business, so I can't speak about that. But what would you say? Do you think you did a lot more traveling in your car that they're doing today?
Oh, I think
You
so.
think
Yeah, we like. Yeah, I'll tell you
okay,
what. You got. I started on the West Coast, Vancouver. You do all Vancouver. You do the island. You take the ferry boat. And, you're gone 5
okay,
days. You come back. You get a day's rest, and you do TV. Then you're on the way again. You take Stampede. You leave Monday morning for Regina, which is 500 or 600 miles, I believe, from Calgary. Calgary, and then you're all up in there, and you work that territory. Come back for a Friday night, and then you're in Calgary Friday. Boom, you're in Edmonton Edmonton on a Saturday. Boom, you're back on the road again. You may get Sunday off. You go to the Maritimes. You start May 25th, and you don't stop traveling until I think the last week of October. You're 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. And you gotta be in shape,
wow.
and you gotta be able to get in that ring and perform. You just, I again, these young kids ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say. I don't think they could do it. A lot of guys think the same as I do. I don't think these young kids could go 45 or an hour, 30 minutes, top speed. I don't think they can do it. That's my opinion. If you kids don't like it, too damn bad. I'm just telling you how it is. There you go, Liz.
You guys could settle it in a steel cage match, a steel cage match, and you guys could settle it there. How about that? How about we
I
set
was,
the
I
return
was
of
in the
no
States.
class Bobby Bass?
Yeah, I'm 74 this February, right? And I probably still get in there and teach them
Oh
kids
wow,
a thing or two. But here's the thing:
a
you
thing or
talk about
two.
steel cage matches.
Well, go
I,
ahead.
I was in Japan 22 nights in a cage, 22 nights in a cage with the top stars. They
Wow,
liked my work, and they put me
wow.
in 22 nights in a week. You know how you get the juice, so you know every night,
Yeah,
you know. So and
my
and
gosh.
I went back to Japan. I went back to Japan, I think 8 or 9 times. He brought me back because he liked my work, you know. And that's a
Which
compliment to me.
promotion
Geez, I don't know what the hell.
which promotion was it?
I got.
All
Oh,
Japan,
Jesus,
New
name a
Japan,
few. All Japan, I
All
think it was.
Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan. Okay, All Japan. Okay,
I don't know.
great promotion,
One of
man.
them there.
You ever
One of them.
okay.
You know. But
All right, that must have been fun. So, what was it like wrestling out in Japan? You must have had a
oh
great
well,
time.
yeah.
Out there.
That's when I first met Tom Billington. You know who Tommy is? The Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, the
He
Dynamite
was on
Kid.
the
Yeah.
same tour I was. Yeah. And we became lifelong friends, believe it or not. Uh, I remember sitting in the dressing room, and they used to put your name on the board. And Tommy and I had the tights on and on, the boots unlaced. And Tommy said, I said, hey, Tommy, I'm not on today. He said, oh, you're on, lad. You're on. I said, I'm not. Tony Seth left at the cage match. He said, you're on. I said, no, I didn't sign for no cage. And then next thing you know, they come in, Bobby Bass, cage. I said, hey, wait a minute. I didn't sign for no cage. They go, you go cage or go home. I said, I'll go home. You pay me. And I wanted the same with, I forget who they brought over for the cage matches. But anyway, I made my deal in the dressing room, haven't signed my contract and all that. And they got me back 22 nights in a row. But you know what? I worked my ass
There you
off
go.
then 22 nights in a row. And they couldn't say shit about not Bobby Bass laying on his ass. And, Dynamite Kid said,
Okay.
you're nuts, And I worked with Dynamite, him and Davey Boy Smith, the late, great Goldie Rogers, and a tag team and single matches with the Dynamite. And he had a reputation of hurting people, but he never hurt me. He never did. We worked great together. We were both great bump takers and, high spot men. And
Okay.
he never ever tried to hurt me, or I never tried to hurt him,
Now he was notorious for ribbing. Did he get you with any of his ribs?
No, he didn't. I was just thinking of
Okay. Okay.
a couple of ribs he pulled on one girl. He made neck slacks chocolate pie. She had to go to the washroom so bad, and he wouldn't let her off the bus. I guess when she went off the bus, she must have crapped herself for about 40 minutes. I don't know. But and then he used to take John Foley. Remember John Foley? John was the big manager, and tough dude too, man. Hell of a shooter. He'd get all drunk up and they shave half his mustache off or something like that, you know. And John would go, "Well, I say lads, we're going, I hope you lads, you know." But you know, no, he never paid nothing on me. I don't know why. Maybe he liked me. I don't know, but or respected me. Whatever.
I remember I was speaking with I was speaking with Bobby Fulton. It might have been the episode. It might have been the podcast that we did together. Bobby Fulton is the Dynamite kid came up to him with an open bottle of Coke and said, "Hey, Bobby, I got you a Coke." And Bobby's like, "There's no way that I'm drinking that Coke that you're about to give me. Sorry." Said the bottle was open. There was no cap on the bottle. Said, "Here, Bob, I got you a Coke." And Bob was like, "Nope, there's no way in hell I'm drinking that Coke." But sorry.
Yeah. I remember when Bobby came in to Stampede, and if you listen, Bobby, you know this. He was overweight, and you know, he was learning a trade. The next thing you know, he had the hair dyed, and he went in one of the top tag team in the world. And I was so proud of Bobby that he did that. You know, that he learned a trade and went on to become a big star. You don't see that too much anymore. Pardon me, but you know, guys like Bobby Fulton deserve everything they got. You know, and we're still good friends today after 40 years,
absolutely.
believe it or not.
Absolutely, he's one of the all-time great, one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Fantastics. Absolutely, man. Huge Bobby Fulton fan.
Oh, no, you're a big Bobby Bass fan because I was one of the greatest tag teams in Canada. We didn't get the publicity Bobby and them got, but I told Bobby me and Ronnie Starr would have loved to work against you and Tommy Rogers. That would have been a hell of a match. And if you know Ron Starr's work and you know mine, you know them guys matches. I think we would have had a great match. I really do.
Those would have been fantastic.
I'm just telling you like it is. You know, I'm just telling you like it is.
Oh,
you know, I mean, we worked hard in the Maritimes and throughout Canada, and it's very, very hard to get a name in Canada, believe it or not. You know, I think I'm more well known in Canada than I am any place else because I did the majority of my wrestling in Canada. And most of my matches in Canada were here. And of course, I did the United States and Japan and Germany. But, you know, it's been 20-something years since I've been out of business, Louis, and I still get 50, 60 things on my Facebook a week about Bobby Bass, you know. And I find that amazing. I think we did something right that people still remember you. And here's another point, Louis. These kids today, when they leave the business after 3 or 4 weeks, nobody know who they are. Nobody will know. And the kids are going to hate me for saying that, but it's true. Tell the truth, guys. Nobody can. I don't know who the hell you are now. I sure as hell won't remember you when you leave. Am I being too brutally honest, Louis?
People. No, hey, you're no class Bobby Bass. You first of all, you said you don't mean to brag, but you brag all you want. You've earned that. You've earned that in your career. You've earned the bragging right. And no, you be brutally honest, man. That's why we're talking.
I am. I'm being honest. Yeah, I am being honest. Yeah. You know, I mean, it just, you know, I got respect for about 10 guys in this business that I really look up to, and I don't know if you remember the great Roy McClarty. Roy was a matinee idol in the 50s and 60s, and he ended his career by referee in All-Star Wrestling in Vancouver. And you know, Roy took me into his wing too, and he you know, I used to believe it or not, I used to drive in the ring truck with him and help him set the ring up. And then he'd say, "Okay, come on, we're going to work out in the ring." And this guy was so smooth and so good. But just, you know, it was a pleasure just to learn from this guy. I was very fortunate. I learned from a lot of good people in this business that never tried to hurt me. They wanted me to learn. They said that, you know, you got something that we don't like, but you're going to make a few bucks. And I'm very, you know, I thought about that years later. I said, wow, gee, these guys took me under the wing, and, you know, they liked me and they trained me properly, and I could go out in the ring and do an hour or 45 minutes or whatever I had to do without grabbing a headlock. And you know that in the olden days, you had to grab a headlock and sit there for 20 minutes. maybe 2 moves. Hit the rope, drop down, tackle, grab it again. You don't do that anymore. People do not want to see you grab a headlock for 20 minutes unless you do some action out of it, you know. I see the young kid, all they do is kick, slap, punch, and don't sell nothing, you know. That's, to me, it's not right. Learn your trade. If you're going to be a carpenter, learn how to cut wood and nail it together. If you're going to be a pro wrestler, learn how to work, you know.
Yeah, well, what about Bret Hart? You mentioned Dynamite Kid. You were in the ring with Bret Hart early on in Stampede. Did you see anything special about Bret Hart? Did you think, wow, this guy's going to be a big star one day?
You know what? I did. Bret had that aura around him. Like you can just see that the kid. I call him a kid, quite the older I am now. He had something special. And when you worked with him, you knew he had something special, you know, and it just had to come out, and it did come out, and you know, he went on to make a great name for himself and a proud Canadian, may I say. And yeah, Bret I saw something. I think not only me, a lot of people saw it in Bret. We just waited for that moment for it to come out, you know, and you know, hit matches with the Dynamite Kid, which is unbelievable. Great matches. You know, you talk about great matches today. Look back at Bret and Dynamite Kid. Just unbelievable. The way they approach himself in the ring, the way they work, the way they sell, the way they and the timing in the ring is unbelievable. But a lot of kids don't have today. You know, that's my view. You know.
Okay, fair enough. Now, 1978. I got this off Cage Match, so I'm going to ask you if it's correct. It stated that you, as a Texas Outlaw, you held the NWA Vancouver Canadian Tag Team titles with the Iron Sheik. Is that in fact correct?
That is. We held them 3 times. Me and Iron Sheik 3 times.
Okay.
We had them. Yep.
Okay. No, my next question on that is how did the Texas Outlaw become the hated Iranian Iron Sheik's partner? How did that? Who put that together?
I think Al Tomko, the late great Al Tomko, put that together.
Okay.
When the Sheik came in, he wasn't over. You know what that means, right? I mean, the people didn't.
Oh yes, yeah, of course.
So I was over like a son of a gun that he put me with him, and as a team we clicked. Believe it or not, you know, the hated Outlaw and the hated Sheik, you know, and it worked. Al Tomko knew it was going to work, and it did work. But we had great matches with Don Leo, Jonathan, Jake the Snake Roberts, whoever was in the territory. We worked the top heels, and it did work. I just got to say that I am not a big fan of the Iron Sheiks, but I when I got in the ring with them, all personal feelings were gone, and we just worked together as a great team. You know, I don't know if you understand that or not, but you know.
No, of course, absolutely. Wait, you said you worked against heels, so you guys were the faces? The Texas Outlaw and Iron Sheik were the faces, or were you guys heels?
We were heels.
Oh, you said you worked the best heels, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. We worked.
I'm sorry because I thought. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So there's one match that I would love to see. I saw this on that site. It said that you defended the titles against Don, Leo, Jonathan, and Jimmy Snuka. That would have been. If there's anywhere that you might know that match may be available for viewing, I don't think it will be, but that's one match that I would absolutely just almost kill to see. That must have been a fantastic match. If you remember, much about it.
Yeah, number one, you're wrong. It wasn't Jimmy Snuka with a young Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts and Don Leo Jonathan.
They were wrong. Okay.
And you know what? It was a great match. Yep. I mean, I worked with Jimmy many times in Portland and Vancouver and Toronto, all over the place. Great worker. You know, you did that big splash on you. Hello, mama.
Yeah. So Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to write some an email because they have it down as Don Leo Jonathan and Jimmy Snuka. Oh yeah, Don Leo Jonathan, Jimmy Snuka defeat Texas Outlaw and Iron Sheik. Okay, I'll have that corrected too. All right, so but still, Jake the Snake Roberts before. Still, I would still love to see that match. The Leo Jonathan and Jake Roberts versus you and the Iron Sheik. That must have been fantastic.
Yeah, that was me and Don Wait from Texas, and it was a great match. I'm not bragging, ladies and gentlemen, or blowing smoke out of my butt. When you work with guys that are professionals, and you got four guys who are professionals in that ring and know how to work, you're going to have a great match. Plain and simple, you know. We know what we're doing. Yeah. We know how to do it. We know how to put it over. You got to say. I go back to that word psychology. You have psychology, you know. I mean, everybody got their finish in. We all interfered and all that. But it would, you got me all excited here now. Great. In my mind, I'm thinking Don Leo Johnson got me in the big Mormon swing. Remember that? He used to grab you by the legs and swing you around the ring. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can actually say I was in the Mormon swing. You know, it was great. It was fantastic. I did. I'm sorry to say that, but I loved all the moves I got into, and I can look back here and say, yeah, I was in that. You know, it's just great. And Don Leo Johnson, I visit him along with Kevin Jeffries. I don't know if you know Kevin. He was a referee in the WWE. He was the Canadian junior weight heavyweight champ of Canada. He was a booking agent for Al Comco, and he took me over, me and my wife, he took us over to meet Don, and Don said, Bobby Bass, you son of a bitch, how you been? That was a lot of years ago. So yeah, he was a good guy, gentleman. He really was, you know. But he's gone now too.
Actually, I'm looking at the website. I'm looking at this website here now. It does say July 1978 that you and the Sheik defeated Leo Jonathan and Jake Roberts for the tag team title in the tournament final match. So he did. But it said a month later, it says him and Jimmy Snuka took on you and Iron Sheik. But you're saying that it would have been Jake Roberts.
Well, it would have been his partner. It could have been, because all I remember is Jake Roberts and Don Leo Jonathan. You know? Hey, Lewis, I'm getting old now. Come on.
It's okay. No. Hey, I'm getting old. I'm getting old too, man. It actually also says here that you defeat Ruse to retain the titles. And do you remember that match? Jonathan Boyd and it says you defeated the Royal Kangaroos also to retain the titles in September of '78. Yep. Not sure if you remember that one. Yes, we did. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I sure do.
There you go.
Yep. I remember a lot of this stuff.
Jonathan.
And sometimes I don't. But,
go ahead, man.
I do remember a lot of my matches in a lot of territories I was in. And I'll be honest with you, Lewis, I'm very proud to be No Class Bobby Bass. I'm very proud to be a pro wrestler. And I'm still proud today that the people recognize me as No Class Bobby Bass. After so many years being out the business, they'll walk up and say, Bobby, how you doing? Because I have a picture taken with you. You know, and I have no ego. I say, yeah, of course, you know. Some guys said, well, it's going to cost you $15. What are you, crazy? These people came to the arena and supported you when you were starting out, and you're going to charge him $15 for a picture? No, Bobby Bass may have no class, but he doesn't do that shit, you know.
There you go. So, and I look forward to when we finally do get to meet, and then I'll take plenty. Since they're free, I'll take plenty of pictures with you, Bob.
You can go right
We'll
ahead,
take plenty of pictures together. How about that?
I just don't understand. I really don't.
I look forward to that day.
I can't understand how a pro wrestler, unless you're at a Comic Con or something like that, but when a guy walked up in a street and recognized you and say, "Me, I have," sure. I find it an honor that they still remember the old guy after all these years. And I say to myself, I must have been doing something right. They remember me after all these years, you know, and that's the way I look at it, you know.
Well, you definitely the right, man. You've had a very, very long career in professional wrestling, and you mentioned Don Leo Jonathan, and he had a huge feud early on in Andre the Giant's career. Andre the Giant, Don Leo Jonathan. You were on, from what I understand, you were on Andre the Giant's good side. So you were on the good list, right?
I was, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason,
tell us.
Louis,
Tell us a good. Go ahead, buddy.
I remember, they telling me that if he didn't like you, you didn't get in the dressing room. And I got to say this to you and your audience. I don't know why, but he took a shining to me. I think when he first came into Kansas City, me and a gentleman named Tokyo Joe were the two guys against him, and we made him look like $1 million. And I remember when he picked me up for the slam, put me over his head, and I said, "That all you got?" And I weighed 255, and he extended his arms, and he tilted his hand back, and I sort of went back in his hands. He said, "Goodbye, Bobby." I went, "What?" And he walked around the ring, and he found a place where a lot of people weren't sitting, and he heaved me from the about 2 feet from the rope over the top rope into the audience. Pardon me. I took the bump, boom, boom, boom. He comes out. Tokyo Joe throws me back in. He slams me, boom. Joe comes in, slams Joe on top of me, sits on us, 1, 2, 3. And from that day on, I was on Henri's good side, And when he came to Vancouver, he had working against me and somebody else, and he said, "Tomko, I drive with Bobby Bass." Al said, "No, you're working with Bobby Bass." I said, "I drive with Bobby Bass because I had a van with a seat in it. He could stretch straight out."
Oh wow!
And I had a garbage can full of beer for him, so he liked that. But yeah, I got along good with him wherever I was, and he knew I was in the territory. He would ask for me to work with him, and I found that an honor, And again, I don't think I did anything special. I just was a pro wrestler, and I did what I had to do to make him look good. And people don't understand it, Louis. This is a business, Just because you're putting somebody over, it doesn't mean you got to go out there and say, hell, I got to make this guy look good. I'm not going to do nothing. No, you go out there. You don't give 100%. You give 300% to make this guy look good. So it means that when he beats you, he beats somebody, not a piece of garbage that went in there and got the attitude, "Oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that." I might have done 3,000 jobs in my career, and I got to say to you right here in your audience, I went in there with the purpose of making him look good. And when he beat me, he beat somebody, fought hard, and I got a reputation for that. Bobby never laid on his ass. He went in and worked hard. I took a lot of bunt for a lot of guys. They gave me stuff back, which, the big guys in WWF or WWE wouldn't do because they all thought they were superstars, but they liked me. They gave me all kinds of stuff. I was surprised when Ricky Steamboat on TV said, "Slam me, Bobby." I went, "Slam me." Boom, he give me something, And it's the way it was. I don't know if I was lucky or I was very good at my profession. I think a little bit of both.
I think it was more that you were very good at your profession because you before the next question, Andre the Giant, I put that picture up yesterday, asking with you a young Bobby Bass with Andre the Giant that I put up the contest. Does anybody know who that is with Andre the Giant? 2 people got it right, so I got to give them a little shout out here. So Wade Allen and Cody Brown. There's your shout out. So you both got it right by saying it was Bobby Bass. A lot of people get confused that people are guessing. Somebody had guessed Rene Goulet. Somebody had guessed, I think Bobby Eaton. Somebody guessed, but no, it was Wade Allen and Cody Brown got it right.
Hey, Brown and Allen, thanks a lot, guys. You knew. I'm thanking them guys for recognizing me. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I asked if I could guess, and Louis said no. I couldn't guess. I couldn't win the contest.
Well, I don't think that would have been fair. Actually, it was it was Wade and Cody. Not Wade and Cody.
Wade and Cody. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It was Wade and Cody. I think they're Wade and Allen. Wade and Cody.
Good name for a wrestler.
So there you go. So they got it right.
Yeah.
Wade and Cody. Yeah, Wade Cody. They could team up with the Texas Outlaw. How about that?
Yeah. Wow.
There you go.
That's
So
it's.
So I was gonna say what. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I think you were about to say something.
No, I was waiting for you. Go ahead. You
wait for my see. Okay, and I'll ask the question. I'm sorry. I thought you were about to say something. So one thing you seem to have perfected, and I think you touched upon it, was the art of selling. You were absolutely great at selling. One match I was watching when you were in the WWF against Junkyard Dog, he did a light crawling headbutt. He just tapped your head, but you sold it like you were shot in the head, and it was just terrific selling. How long did it take for you to perfect the art of selling? Because again, you did a really, really good job at it.
Thank you, Louis. I have to answer that like this: as you progress in your profession, you learn how to do things, and I think I was always learning, always never stop learning the business. And I used to watch other guys in the ring. I usually on first or second. I run out and watch everybody else, and I learned from the other guys how to sell and how to react. Like Junkyard, I remember that. I just watched that match a couple of weeks ago. To give me a headbutt, boom! I sold it like And my wife said, "Wow, did he really hit you?" I said, "No." She said, "Wow, it looked like he tore your head off." I said, "No." And you got to learn that. And you just said it a minute ago. You got to learn how to sell. If I poke you in the eye, you don't tell me you're gonna come right back and fight me. I don't think so. Because the next one would be for real, in the eye. The young kids, they got to learn how to sell. That's why I think these indie located businesses are only drawing 100, 150 people. Because people are not believing what they see in that ring. That's my opinion again,
Yeah, I was watching a documentary. I forget what it was, but a legend had come in because there was I think it was a WWE. I think it was Tough Enough. I think it was Triple H actually. He came in and he was talking to some of the Tough Enough contestants. They were in a contest to become a professional wrestler. So he brought them in and he said, "I want you to sell a punch for me." And so we threw one guy, and the guy who sold it weekly, and Triple H grabbed it and said, if you would sell like that for me in the ring, I would punch you for real.
I would
scared
too.
the hell out of the kid. Is that true?
I have done that.
Okay.
I threw a great shot at some guy who thought he was the cock of the walk, and he just shook his head. And I just smiled. I looked over at the Cuban. I got the nod, and the next one came for real. He sold that, I tell you. I mean, you're out there making him look like. No, it's true. You out there trying to make him look good, and you throw one dynamite shot at him, and he just looked at you like, yeah, well, the next one is my ass, You got to teach these young kids. You got to teach these young kids they can't do that. Because once you let them get away with it, they do it all the time. And again, all you young kids listening to the broadcast, this is my opinion only. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth. Some guys will butter the bread for you and say, this is how it is. It's not like that. I wish I could go back in time and be in my prime and take half of these young kids in the ring. Ronnie Hutchison, you know Ron? Ronnie Hutchison trained Edge.
Oh, yes,
Christian,
absolutely.
Christian. This guy I have known for 35, 40 years, and I'll tell you what, he would not put up with any shit. He worked your ass off. That's why Christian, Edge, Joey Legend, Trish Stratus was so good, because he learned the right way from Ronnie. Ronnie put no garbage, and he trained them, and they all became world champions. Think about it. They all became WWF world champions, and they were trained by a professional wrestler that knew the business.
Speaking of the WWF, what was your experience like in the WWF? I know you were there for a while. We mentioned Junkyard Dog. You took on Tito Santana as a match on YouTube. I think you wrestled Dynamite Kid maybe a couple of times in WWF. What was your experience like with the WWF?
Quite honestly, I drive in as a jobber, do my thing, and leave. I mean, I tell you who wanted to give me the push a little push was who put me over with Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla liked my work a whole lot, and but at that time, and that they had a program lined up for 2-3 years in advance with Piper and Snuka and Hogan and Tito, whatever. But and here's another thing, I knew what I'd going in for. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was going to make these guys look good, and I had no problem with that. And I knew I wouldn't get into WWF. That was fine because I knew it's a business and I knew what to expect. I didn't go in there and do one match. Well, I'm in the WWF. No, I was not in the WWF. I was in there a couple of TV shows, and everybody says, if you notice today, WWF star. The guy been in there 2 times. Star? You were a jobber like myself. What are you trying to kid? And I'm honest about it, Louis. I know where I was and what I did, and I just tell it like it is. They go, wow, So, what am I going to tell you? I just told you the truth.
All right. Yeah, that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for, man. You tell the truth, man. I wouldn't expect No Class Bobby Blast to lie, man.
No. I tell you, listen. I got along good with everybody in the dressing room. I did. They all liked me. They all wanted to work with me because I was, and I want you kids to understand it. I was a worker. I knew how to work. I knew how to sell. I knew how to punch. I knew how to kick. I knew my business, Louis. You know what I'm saying? I was like a carpenter. I knew everything about the building trade. I knew everything about the wrestling trade. I learned. I suffered, but I learned. And I think a bunch of the kids do that today. I think they'd be better off getting in the ring. I was never afraid of getting hurt, believe it or not. I was never afraid because I knew my trade. I knew I could bump. I knew how to just be in that ring and take my whatever they threw at me, I threw back at them.
All right, now let's talk about Grand Prix wrestling for a bit. What are your favorite memories about working for Grand Prix, and how many times you wrestled Leo Burke? I mean, and would you call him your group's opponent?
Would I call him what?
Oh, your greatest opponent.
In Canada.
Would you call him your
I would call Leo Burke very underrated in stature in Canada. To me, he was Canada's greatest wrestler, bar none. I mean, even Bret Hart, I tell you, he didn't get the credit he deserved. And that guy, I must have wrestled him in a 10-year period, maybe 100, 150 times. Never a bad match with Leo. Never. And guy knew his business. He looked good. He knew what to do in the ring. And if you had a bad match with Leo Burke, hang up your boots and go home. That's all I can say about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So would you say actually, let me phrase it this way. What was your favorite promotion that you worked for while you were an active pro wrestler?
I'm going to tell you right now, I like BC, I like Stampede, and I like Grand Prix. I liked them all. I did. I really enjoyed being in the territory and meeting the guys that I worked with and traveling and seeing the country. I'm a weird duck. I got to tell you, I can't say to you, Louis, I loved Grand Prix and I hated this. I didn't. I enjoyed working every territory I was in. I would, I love the Maritime because I'm from there, of course, but I love Calgary. I love BC, and it was just an opportunity for me to see places I didn't see before, especially out west, traveled out west, and it was great. I loved it. I never was, I don't like that territory. The trips are too long. Hey, it's part of the business. If you're going a 500-mile trip there and 500-mile back, if you don't want to do it, get out of the business. Go work in the grocery store, bagging groceries or something. This is part of our business. If you don't understand that, go home. Not brutal, but it's the way it is. So.
All right, man. So last question, and then we'll wrap last question, and we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
You've been in the business. You started in 1967. You retired.
Yep.
What year did you retire actually from active wrestling?
Actually, I retired. I think it was 92. 92.
Okay, so 67 to 92. If you could do it all over again, would you change anything? Would anything be different, or would you just want it to be exactly the way everything happened? If you could do it all over again.
This is going to sound stupid to you, but I would change one thing. That one thing was I used to look at Leapin' Lanny, and he did that backflip. I would love to do that. I swear to God, I don't know. I sound stupid, but I used to watch people like, wow, gosh, I wish I could do that. I always fall on my ass or something. But yeah, that I wouldn't change anything except learn how to do that. I wouldn't want to be anything different than I am. I'm a down to earth guy. I got a personality that a lot of people like. And matter of fact, Kevin Jeffries said to me the other day, I can't understand how you were so badass in the ring and you're such a loving man outside the ring. I said, Kevin, it's just me, and that's all there is to it. Louis, I don't pretend to be anybody I'm not. I'm very lucky. I work in the movie industry today, and I'm very happy in my life. I got a great wife, great family, and good friends, and I'm happy. Then you shake a stick at. I got no beefs about wrestling. I got no beefs about being beaten in the ring, losing titles. Listen, it's all a business, and if you kids understand something I'm trying to tell you, it's a business. Don't take it personal.
Okay, fair enough, man. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you and talking to you. It's always a fun time talking with you, Bobby.
Oh.
And I hope we can catch up again real soon. I'd love to have you back on the show many times, man. I'm sure you have some fantastic stories, more stories that we haven't got to today that we could get to, man.
Well, it's like you told me a long time ago, Louis. Don't give it all away in one shot, Bobby. We'll stretch it out a little bit.
There you go. There you go, man. There you go. Well,
Louis, listen,
again, Bobby, thanks for...
Louis, I want to thank you for getting in touch with me and having this talk today. It brings back a lot of good memories. And listen, you and your family have a good day and stay healthy.
You too, brother. You stay safe, stay healthy, and let's do this again real soon, my friend.
Anytime you want to, I'm here for you. You know that.
Okay, thanks, man. And I'm proud to call you my friend, Bobby. I know.
Me too.
We met about a year ago. I'm proud to call you a friend, my Bobby.
Thank you, brother. Let me say goodbye to you and all the people listening to this podcast. This guy gets one of the greatest interviews ever. Support this guy. Don't be shy. Get on his broadcast.
Oh man, thank you. That means a lot to me, Bobby. I really appreciate that. But don't hang up, man. I want you to cut a quick promo for me before you go. If that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the goodbyes here and do the closeout, and then I'll have you cut that quick promo. So just give me 2 seconds.
You got it.
Well, this has been the Alliance Pro Wrestling. This has been the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Again, want to thank my guest, the Canadian pro wrestling legend, No Class Bobby Bass. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.